I'm Sharon Brettkelly, and today's detail was going to be all about Ōpōtiki and its struggling mussel farming operation, which is the great hope for this town. Instead, after the January floods, I'm flying into Te Araroa on the East Cape. I'll get back to Ōpōtiki and how it's coping after dozens of slips cut off the two routes to Gisborne in less than a week. But here we are, just landed on the airstrip that's right next to the solar farm and the Mānuka factory. This town of 200 was isolated for days. Hicks Bay and Ōpōtiki, just over the hill, are still cut off. We've got a short weather window before our Cessna has to leave, and we're on Te Araroa's main road where a convoy of trucks and utes drive past.
Good walk. We've been walking from Gisborne.
Te Araroa local Robin Hapeta pulls up on his ride-on mower.
Big story to tell around here too. Yeah.
But he's not complaining.
It's pretty paradise around here, you know, you've got to get out to watch.
So you wouldn't know here that anything had happened, would you?
It's amazing, even pretty much the next day, because our homestead's just in there.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't know from that view looking out this way that this was pretty much a disaster zone 12 hours earlier. You just wouldn't know.
Oh, here come the crowds.
Yeah, so they would have been helping the Punaruku group where the whānau got rescued off the roof.
A family of 7 spent the night on their roof as floodwaters raged around them.
The sounds were horrific, like thunder and lightning, just boulders and debris smashing into their home. Priya shared with me that there was a point up there where she actually truly believed that that was the end for them, for her and her children, and she said that I just had to hug them. I just had to grab them and hug them.
Yeah, there's a bit going on in this little paradise, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a lot, yeah. It's always quite full on, to tell you the honest truth.
Got the lighthouse on the East Cape.
Got the lighthouse, but that's been closed since COVID. So not many tourists are coming through like how they used to, because that used to be their thing, used to go down there for the first sunrise in the world.
So what's it been like this last week for you?
For me, I was quite lucky. Business is normal, really. Our house didn't get affected at all. The surrounding streets did, so it's been... I think probably the main thing was the power down and no internet, so the whānau outside. We were all right here. It was our whānau outside not knowing what was going on. That was a really big concern for me.
So there are other parts of Te Araroa, apart from down there on the road to Hicks Bay.
Yeah.
Where you live, there's also a bit of damage around there.
Bit of damage, because you can actually see it from behind us. Whetū Mataro, our big sacred mountain of the township, that all slipped. So that came down the main road and then just overflowed. Followed the road down and then blocked all the drains, and then that's where the problems had in the houses. It got a lot of silt damage. But there was a lot of dirt that come off that mountain.
Was that the big one?
There were several big ones. That was one of the big ones for Te Araroa. There was 2 big ones in between Te Araroa and the lighthouse that blew out culverts down there, which is actually blocking the road. There's still family out there who are stranded out there. From the main road access, they can still come on the beach at low tide and swim around or get up boats, but some of the younger ones have got their 4-wheelers so they can get in those little tracks, but it's still dangerous. The mountains are still moving, so yeah, it's really on advice, and the hunters know where they're going.
Is it scary to live here when the land is still moving?
Scary? I wouldn't say scary, no, because, I go back to those old saying of the old people, I am the land is me. So if it's moving, it's just telling a story, really. It's warning shots, that's what I reckon. It's moving because there's problems. Don't want to get too political about it, but I think there's a lot of political things around that our mountain's just warning the governments and warning the political people. Stop being too political about things and just get back to nature, because this is where we need help. The land means everything to us. Whenua is, or Māori, the word for land is whenua. Probably can't do it justice in talking about it in English, but whenua it just means everything.
So what help do you need the most? It sounds like they're working really hard to fix the road.
Yep, from what I've seen and what I know, the real help we need it's those ones who actually lost their homes. They're the ones and those ones who are still isolated now. From what I hear, they're getting the support they actually need with the food drops. But it's actually That's the Band-Aid solution again. There were warning shots before this even happened that we need to fix things, that things aren't right. Oh yeah, these roads have been terrible. I've been home for 20 years now, and the road, that's normal. It's actually, the shocking condition there and now, it's normal. And all we get told is, there's X amount of people living in the East Coast down here, so you get X amount of funding to fix the roads. It's never going to be enough. It never has been enough.
Yes, there's X amount of people living here, but this becomes the main route when the Waiaweka Gorge shuts down, which it has, and now they can't get through this way. So it's more than the tiny population that these roads are serving.
Yeah, I do understand there are technical problems, just the way the road's made up with the papa rock. There's water underneath, water moves, it's always going to move, we get that.
Feel sorry for the whānau over the hill though, right?
Yep, devastated for our whānau over the hill. But in saying that, they're pretty strong as well, pretty handy out there. Yeah, no, here ka aroa. Wouldn't know what it's like until it happens to you. No one ever thinks it's going to happen to you.
So you've been back here 20 years. Is this the worst you've seen in terms of flood damage?
Definitely the worst in one time. A big slip like that, it actually is common. Every heavy rain, you can guarantee there is a slip and it is going to shut part of the road. Because we've got some local contractors here as well, they can usually fix it that same day. But we're talking multiple slips, multiple huge slips. So, and then now, lucky, I think I heard the army's coming in, but the local ones just gotten in and pretty much done the mahi and figure out how they're getting paid for it later, just to get moving again, get those roads open so we can at least get to the neighbour, the nanny down the road or the uncle down the road or the auntie down the road, or get to the marae, because the marae's the next big hub spot where the more hands we got at the marae, just the easier, the lighter the workload is for everyone around here to help those, I don't want to say few who are still stranded, because I think from memory there's still about 30 or 40 homes who are...
And that's a lot for around
still
here,
stuck,
right?
That's a lot. Yeah.
Including children who would be getting ready to go to school.
That's
Will
right.
they be able to get to school?
Our local school here and the kura kaupapa on the other side have had to shut because the bus run can't go to bring the kids in.
Yeah.
But one of the beauties about it is there's another marae just in behind here.
Yeah.
And they've actually started a pop-up, they call it kura tai ao. So it's all the kids. I think the last I saw in there was probably about 30 kids. And the mums, the aunties, even the uncles. So the uncles are going out there and digging up the gardens. And so those kids are in there as well, learning those skills, even though they can't get to the normal school. Yeah. Hey, kaora.
An ATV pulls up with lunch on board for Robin. I'm Sharon. I'm making a podcast. Can I come and talk to you?
Okay. Is it going to take long?
No, 5 minutes.
Okay.
What's your name?
My name's Tani Atkins-Waitoa.
So where do you live?
I think her kids, you got them over in the kura tai ao. Your kids down there.
My kids are down there, but...
And your kids are in the marae?
Yeah, very grateful to our whānau down there with the pop-up school because I'm able to take my tamariki there during the day and help our community.
What are you doing to help?
So we're the road workers, plumbers, septic cleaners. We go around dropping off all their lunches. So our area spans out to East Cape, the ones working on that road, the ones working on the hill and over in Ōpōtiki, and then all the way down in Punaruku. And then we just stop at all the other, say the arborists, anybody else we can see contributing mahi towards the cause, and give them a lunch.
What's for lunch?
What's in our bag, babe? We got sandwiches, piece of cake, some fruit, biscuits, and cold water.
And how many people do you deliver to daily?
So we've had 60 on our bike today, and we now have 9 left.
9 left?
Yeah.
Wow. And how's everybody doing?
Our spirits are up, eh? Things are getting done. We're all just getting into it and trying our best to clean up our home and carry on. Yeah.
And what do you think about the help that's coming in from outside?
Can't wait to get the help coming in just so us home folk can have a break.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been on for the last 9 days now, just hard at it. Yeah, getting into it. Yeah, but tired.
All day, every day?
Yeah. And these ones are young too. They're teenagers and they're just mucking in with us.
And when do you start back at school?
That's another story because their school is located in Hicks Bay.
So what are you going to do?
We're waiting to hear the plans. At this time it could be possibly based at one of our marae, but yeah, we won't say too much on that because we don't know enough.
Okay. You keen to get back to school?
Not really.
Thank you. Hey,
Carry on.
yeah, carry on. Thanks for your time.
Your time.
Oh, look at that. You got your lunch. Oh.
Can I take a choice
No,
if you
no,
want
no,
of a biscuit
no. We've got. No, you need it. We've got food back at the plane. Yeah. Thank you. All right. Well, I'm at Ōpōtiki Wharf now. That's about 160 kilometres away from Te Araroa, and sitting here by the river, no sign of any kind of storm damage. But of course it is affected because the two main routes from here to Gisborne are closed. The only routes really from here to Gisborne, otherwise you have to drive for about 10 hours. Now originally, before the terrible weather, I was scheduled to come here and speak to the Mayor, David Moore, about whakatōhea mussels and reports of the government having to pump millions of dollars more into this operation because it's struggling right now. So I just wanted to find out from David Moore just how important this operation is. We're talking about a mussel factory in Ōpōtiki, and we're also talking about the farm, the mussel farm offshore here. It was seen as a great hope for this town, which has been through really hard times. And so I wanted to find out the vision for the company and for this town really, and also plans for the marina here, very ambitious plans, because work is due to start on that very soon.
Kia ora, I'm David Moore, I'm the Mayor of Ōpōtiki.
When I contacted you, it was because of a story that was in the Herald by Matt Nippert about whakatōhea mussels. But so much has happened since then, and I feel like the story has shifted. So let's talk about Waiweka Gorge for a start, because that's going to take a bit of fixing.
Yeah, look, it took a few days to actually realise the extent of the damage in there. 40 plus slips, some of them were massive. There was people stuck in there that were caught out. It was quite an isolated area. The main focus was to get those people out safely, get assistance to those that are living in there. You had holiday makers in there, you had people that needed to get out, people that needed to get back in, do your normal day-to-day farming. So the focus was on that, and at that stage there was a lot of damage.
Investigations have confirmed the damage is worse than first anticipated.
It's a big event. It's massive.
NZTA telling One News reopening the road is likely to be months rather than weeks.
We don't know what's under the mud, so we don't know if there's a road.
It's adding, for round figures, around about 200 kilometres each way for our travel and motel accommodation because we can't make it round and back in our legal driving hours.
It has an economic impact on providers and growers of food that need to get that fresh produce to the rest of New Zealand on the same day.
Events changed, the weather event that followed shortly after. Having experienced Cyclone Gabriel, regional declaration was made, which was the right thing to do. It really was. You often get a bit of criticism for going early, and I did. On the following morning, I had a local stop and tell me how we had overreacted. And then the tragedies unfolded. Our heart goes out to what happened in Tauranga. It's the Mount in Papamoa. We also lost someone here in the Waiweka. That's a tragic event up there. And the Waiweka Gorge, it's a main arterial route for transport, and there's a massive amount of commercial vehicles backwards and forward. It's the lifeline for Gisborne. Product going to Port of Tauranga, our products, businesses from both sides, families. So look, you have the commercial pressure that's coming on. I'm comfortable that Waka Kotahi have done a very good job.
Out there on the way up to Waiweka Gorge is kind of where Ōpōtiki's industry is, where the big pack houses are, and a big base that used to be the Ōpōtiki Dairy Factory that is now kind of the hub for some big trucks, and there are heaps of them there at the moment sitting there. It's an example of how important the Waireka Gorge is, isn't it? Because they're stuck there until it gets sorted.
And State Highway 35, there's still a lot of product that goes through the Port of Tauranga. All of the product that goes into the Port of Tauranga to go out of the country comes from the provinces. You know, we do contribute, so people talk about how much money's been put into here, but we for many years have been putting money the other way. We were due for our turn to have some investment into here, help us grow. And
you need a break.
Yeah, need a break.
What is the solution, really, the long-term solution for Waireka Gorge? It's windy, it's steep, it's pretty hairy scary, but it's a really good road.
Yeah.
But what assurances are you getting that the work will future-proof it?
I have to be honest, say I don't think anything can future-proof it, but we need to mitigate these long-term closures. We are very, very lucky in Ōpōtiki and Tairāwhiti. We have some very experienced roading companies, earthwork companies based in Ōpōtiki. We cannot afford to lose it. Those are the guys that are going to open this. Without those local people in there doing that, that know what they're doing. That's one of the reasons why I'm not a big believer in centralisation and big is better. The ministers involved, I'm confident they realise the seriousness of this. They are someone who wants to get us back on track. Well, we need a track to be on track, and I think you have to have local voices standing up and pushing that if we don't see that.
A lot of it boils down to money, doesn't it? And there's going to have to be a heck of a lot of money that's put into roading here. I know a lot of it is centrally funded through Kotahi, the main roads, but a lot of it is your roads. And we're talking about a small community of just over 10,000 in a big district. Where does the money come from to fix up the roads and make them really strong for the future?
There's current talk about rate capping and we won't go into that, but...
Well, tell me about it was going to have to be a 22% rate rise in this district.
We've all been faced with issues, and one of the issues we had was we have this beautiful harbour. We don't have the marina that was going to help fund the ongoing maintenance of the harbour, and we were staring down the barrel of a 22% rate rise when more than half of that was the ongoing maintenance of the harbour without the marina there to help subsidise it. So look, on top of that, we've got some local farmers and residents on a little road called Wairara Road. There is no road there, it's gone. We can't get in there until the access through the Waireka Gorges, but those farmers have been doing what they can to help each other up there. They've been getting information back to us, so we know what we're staring down the barrel of. We can't fix those without the assistance of Waka Kotahi chipping in, so it will get done, but if you have seen the damages over the recent years around Tairāwhiti, these things don't get fixed straight away, and the last thing you need is to be getting pressure from political parties chucking you under the bus about rate rises. So someone has to pay for these things, and it's what keeps our economy going. These farms are critical.
Yeah, and I guess the whole money thing brings us back to the reason I came here in the first place, and that is to talk about whakatohea mussels. That company, that business that was started several years ago that really brought so much hope to Ōpōtiki. It feels like things are a bit rocky there at the moment. What's going on?
I honestly can't speak to the finances of whakatohea mussels. I'm not a shareholder. The council isn't a shareholder. I just took you down to have a look at our wharf and what we've done to house the mussel boats to enable that. The harbour itself, it was taken over, and that was a government project. They will always own that. That's not our asset, that's their asset. But we have to maintain it, and the burden of that can't fall on the current ratepayers. This was meant to help us as a district. So, look, we've been busy doing our side of it. There's challenges. No one's built a mussel farm out in the open ocean before. It is open ocean farming. I took you through the kiwifruit industry here is a huge player, brings in a lot of money into our district. These things all started small scale, but there was always challenges, so it can't fall back onto the ratepayers of the Ōpōtiki. We're the third biggest district in the Bay of Plenty with the second smallest population to pay for it, so we do need those government departments in partnership with us. They can't just abandon us halfway through. So I
guess the thing is, people look at how much taxpayer money through the Provincial Growth Fund has gone into whakatohea mussels as well as that marina, and they're saying, when does it stop? Is it ever going to look after itself?
Yeah, and like I say, whakatohea mussels, a lot of it was started by local business people, farmers, orchardists, iwi, putting in their pocket to establish, the project in the first place. They showed what was capable, and the government came on board, and particularly Shane Jones and his party were heavily involved, and the Labour Party at the time, they agreed to fund that. So you have to look at the big picture. What income is coming from this district, bringing in, taxpayer money into this country, and then you also have to look at, we're paying record numbers to benefits. If the whakatohea itself wanted a hand up. They want a hand up to try and create a future, so they're not reliant on welfare. Someone could have said exactly the same thing with the kiwi fruit industry many, many years ago, and look where that would have got us. Farming's been under attack for many years from different, but they still bring a lot of our income into this country.
Is there any danger that this mussel farming venture will collapse completely here in Ōpōtiki?
I can't talk to that, but what I'm sure of is other parties will step in. It's not just mussels, there's dreams of farming fish, and there's all sorts of things. So it's the aquaculture industry. The other thing with our harbour, so we're talking two different things. You wouldn't have the harbour if it wasn't for whakatohea mussels, and vice versa. You want it to work. Other things have to be looked in the future. We've just seen our roads all go out. This district used to be serviced by ship. Is that the answer in the future? It may not be the answer, but it might be a solution to issues that we have in future. These weather events are going to come more often. It just be something to give us some resilience. The last thing you want is our people on the coast having to move away from their whenua. It's happened before. You want people living back on their own land. And it is a beautiful part of the world.
The vision for the marina and Ōpōtiki is almost like a full circle thing, isn't it? Because earlier you were showing me photos of what Ōpōtiki was like when it was an absolutely thriving country town.
And look, I'm not quite old enough to remember the ships that came in here. My mother was. It's something that might happen again. We've got the harbour there. I would love to have a bit of shipping on the coast. The road's got to have its part, but we need a fix there.
It's a big ambition that you've got for this little town.
Yeah, no, and it is a dream. And I showed you a map of how much was taken away from whakatohea. They can't get their land back. And there was that dream that what can we do? And the answer was staring in front of us, the open ocean. Yes, like we can farm the sea maybe.
That is the thing though, as you said, this town, the marina, the mussel business, it's too far down the track now to pull the plug and say, oh no, this is just too hard. Because it's been a long time coming, especially that marina, hasn't it?
Look, I wasn't the mayor. I was on council when we got given the green light. This was a two-part project. It was a marina and a harbour. You can't have one without the other. It's a bit like having a logging truck, as you saw, and no roads to work on. So I agree you can't keep putting money into something that's possibly not working, so that has to be looked at and questions asked. It is taxpayer money, so they have to sort it out sooner rather than later. It just cannot be abandoned.
Ōpōtiki Mayor David Moore there, and thanks also to Robin Hapeta and Tani Atkins-Waitoa. The Detail is a newsroom production supported by RNZ and NZ On Air. Gwen McClure produced this episode, Mark Chesterman engineered it. I'm Sharon Brettkelly, ka kite.